Alright, so this is the second video. We're going to continue working these problems out. Complete the statement about the parallelogram ABCD if AD is congruent to BC because opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So I need to look for BC so I can get rid of this one. And I'm talking about the opposite sides, not the diagonals. The diagonals are BD and AC. Those are the diagonals. Here I have CDA, which is this angle. I know if this is a parallelogram, it is congruent to ABC, angle ABC. Or you can write this angle as angle CBA, as long as the B, which is the vertex, is in the middle. So I'm looking for ABC, which is here, A and C. And I know those are opposite angles. Those are not alternate interior. Alternate interior angles will be this one and this one, for example. Or we can say this one and this one. So my correct answer is C. Right, what is the equation in point slope form of a line parallel? Meaning that my slope is going to be the same, which is -6. I get rid of C and D. Definitely get rid of C because X shouldn't be in the front. And then I use this point as X and Y. Using point slope form, y minus 8 is equal to -6 parentheses x plus 6. And so my answer will be A. Okay, I want to find EB and ED, and I know that this angle is congruent to this one, and this angle is congruent to this one. Angle A is congruent to angle C because of alternate interior angles. Angle E is congruent to angle D because of alternate interior angles. Also, angle CBD is congruent to angle EBA, and I cannot use one letter to name angle B because I can refer to a lot of different angles there. That means that my sides are proportional because these triangles are similar. I need to set up a proportion. I can set up 9x over 4x plus 3 is equal to, since I started with this triangle, I need to continue to start with this triangle, 9 over 5. Cross multiply, I get 45x is equal to 36x plus 27. Subtract both sides by 36x. That gives me 9x is equal to 27. X is equal to 3. I can eliminate 1/4 as my x. And I can solve for EB, which will be 4 times 3 plus 3, which is 12 plus 3. Which is 15. EB is 15. So D is my correct answer. Special right triangles. This is equal to 2s. This is s radical 3 because it is opposite the 60. This is s because it's opposite the 30. That means that if 2s is equal to 24, divide both sides by 2. S is equal to 12. X is 12. And y is equal to 12 radical 3. D is my correct answer. Faster to do than trig. I can only do that with special right. Alright, if this is 34, it's asking me to find angle G, which is here. These are alternate interior angles. They didn't mention that the lines were parallel, but they are. That's the only way you can do this problem, meaning that G is also 34 degrees because alternate exterior angles are congruent when the lines are parallel. A is the correct answer. Find the value of x. This one you have to use trig because this is not a special right. This will be opposite over hypotenuse. Always remember your SOHCAHTOA. If you don't remember, it is on your reference sheet. You will see it on the back part. And you should have sine of 25 is equal to 12 over x. The bisectors of the angles of an obtuse triangle, it doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is, it will always be on the inside. A is my correct answer. Which of the following is not true? So we're going to find out what is true. NP, KF, they're in the same position. That's true. DP, HF, they're in the same position. That's true. DH, they're in the same position. That's true. And PK, they are not in the same position, it is not necessarily true that those two angles are congruent by looking at the congruent statement, because the ordering of the letters do matter. D is my correct answer. If AB is perpendicular, so we have to put 2 points, A and B, on this line. And if it is perpendicular CD, so I'm going to put CD on this line, right angle. And XY is perpendicular to CD. So this is CD, so I'm going to place XY here. As long as it's perpendicular, I can place that there. So that means that AB is parallel to XY. It is, because I have corresponding angles that are congruent. And so that is always the case. If corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. A is the correct answer. We're finding the missing reasons. This is angle addition postulate. I can get rid of C and D. And then I had to subtract both sides by 10 to get to this step here. That's subtraction property. B is my correct answer. If DEF, which is this angle here, is 122, then what are FEG, which is the supplementary, so that is 68, and HEG, which is vertical angles here, 122. So HEG is 122. And we use the calculator to make sure that 180 minus 122 is 68, and it is not. It is 58, and my answer is D as in dog. Find the coordinates of the midpoints. That means I add my x coordinates together, divide by 2, add my y coordinates together, divide by 2. That gives me 12 over 2 and 2 over 2, which is 6, 1. My correct answer is C. Midpoint formula is also on your reference sheet. What other information do you need to prove that the triangles are congruent using side angle side? So that means if they're only asking for one piece of information, like the answer choices indicate, that means they've already given us two. So we first have to identify which two pieces of information did they give us. They told us that BC and CD were congruent. And we should know that AC is congruent to AC because of reflexive property, meaning that we need this angle right here to be congruent to each other. What would make that true is if they're both 90 degrees because they make a straight line. So if AC is perpendicular to BD, those two angles are congruent. You have side angle side congruence. B is my correct answer. Write the equation for the horizontal line that passes through 4, 8. First, you have to know a horizontal line is of the form y equals a number. So you can get rid of C and D. And in this case, y is equal to 8. So B is my correct answer. Fill in the missing reasons. They told us that AB is congruent to AC. They put markings there. Angle BAD is congruent to CAD. They put markings there. They also told us that AD was congruent to AD because of reflexive property, meaning that the triangles are congruent because of side angle side. I can get rid of A and C. And then I can say that BD, which are the first and third letters, is congruent to CD. And I can say that because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, my answer is D, also known as CPCTC. D is my correct answer. Find the length of each side of the polygon for the given perimeter. The perimeter is 49. It means you add up all the sides. These are congruent markings, meaning this side is also 2n plus 2. So I add up all of my sides. 2n plus 2 plus 2n plus 2 plus 2n minus 3. And that's all equal to my perimeter, which is 49. I combine like terms. I get 6n plus 1 is equal to 49. Subtract both sides by 1. Get 6n is equal to 48. Divide both sides by 6. N is equal to 8. And so if I find the length of each side, 8 times 2 is 16 plus 2 is 18. These two sides are 18, which means that A has to be my correct answer. 8 times 2 is 16 minus 3. This side is 13, which verifies that A is my correct answer. The relationship between 3 and 6, their alternate interior angles. Name 3 collinear points. B, L, D are not in the same line. C, L, B are not on the same line. K, A, C are not on the same line. D, F, G is on the same line. My answer is D. Where can the perpendicular bisectors, those are not always inside, those are in, on, or out, of a right triangle? That means that they are on. 2 only. B is my correct answer. Are A, C, D, and F coplanar? Do they lie on the same plane? No. DAC does. DAHC. These are all on the front side of the pyramid. But the answer is no. They are not on the same line. You do not choose that answer because they said coplanar. So it has nothing to do with the line. It has everything to do with the plane. 3 of them lie on the same face, D, A, and C. But F does not. That's the 4th. It does not. D is my correct answer. Here, what is the value of H, such as the points lie on a line with the slope of -2/5? If that is the case, you need to use your slope formula, which is on your reference sheet. Subtract your y's on top, subtract your x's on the bottom. Substitute those in. I decided to go h minus 3. You could have also said 3 minus h, but if you did that on the bottom, it should say -5 minus -6. It has to go in the correct order. So this is h minus 3 and -6 minus -5. Simplified, it makes that 2 negative signs a positive, and this gives me -1 on the bottom. Make sure your negative sign is either in the top or the bottom before you cross multiply. Cross multiply. You get 5 times h, which is 5h. Bring down the minus. 5 times 3, which is 15. -2 times -1 is +2. Add 15 to both sides. Then divide both sides by 5. And you get h is equal to 17/5. 17/5. Your correct answer is B as in boy. Where can the lines containing the altitudes? These are not always inside of the obtuse, so those are always outside. C is my correct answer. This is one that we did in class, but I do want to go back over it. You need to use Pythagorean theorem because I'm looking for the cosine of x, so I need to know what xy, the value of it is, before I can say adjacent over hypotenuse. So I need to use x squared plus 6 squared equals 7.5 squared and solve for this side, which is Pythagorean theorem. 7.5 squared in my calculator tells me it's 56.25. Subtract both sides by 36. X squared is equal to 20.25. Take the square root of both sides. X is equal to 4.5 according to my calculator. So that means that this side here is 4.5. Now I can set up my cosine ratio. Adjacent 4.5 over hypotenuse 7.5. And I realize it doesn't match any of my answer choices. I need to get rid of my decimal because none of my answer choices have decimals. I can multiply both the top and the bottom by 2 as long as you multiply by the same number, whether it be 2 or 10. You just have to make sure you multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. Here I get 9/15. A is my correct answer. If you multiply by a larger number like 10, make sure you simplify your fraction. This one you should have had tan x is equal to opposite over adjacent. Whenever you have tan with the x, to get the tan off of it, you need to do the tan inverse. X is equal to tan inverse of 10/14. That is what you put inside of your calculator. Everyone's calculator is different, so make sure you have your own so you're getting used to it as we prepare for the end of course exam, so you know exactly how to do all of your trig problems. A is my correct answer. And that's the end of our video. Thank you.